Hello and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News on this Friday, December 12th. I'm Grant Olson. Here's some of the stories we have coming up for you tonight. Chelan County has declared a state of emergency in response to damage sustained from the rain and windstorms. Two of the Wenatchee Valley's major players in recycling and waste reduction are joining forces. Get ready for a dry, warm weekend with another atmospheric river headed our way on Monday. Your full local weather forecast is coming up. The greater Leavenworth area was still without power this afternoon after widespread power outages followed severe winds and rainfall this week. At the time of this newscast, about 4,300 Chelan County PUD customers were affected by outages. Also on Thursday morning, 11,000 Chelan County households were without power. Chelan PUD said it's deployed all available personnel across the county and received mutual aid support from Douglas County PUD and Okanagan County PUD. On Thursday night, Chelan PUD predicted power in Leavenworth would be restored by about 6 p.m. tonight. Chelan County has declared a state of emergency in response to damage sustained from the rain and windstorms. The emergency declaration was approved by Board of Commissioners Chair Sean Smith on Wednesday. The county allows one of the three commissioners to declare a state of emergency when the board is not in session, and the entire board will sign a formal resolution at its next meeting on December 15th. The declaration gives commissioners the ability to use local resources without going through the typical government bidding process for goods and services. It's also a prerequisite to receiving most state and federal recovery assistance funding. Governor Bob Ferguson's office announced today that President Donald Trump approved Washington State's request for federal emergency assistance. On Thursday, U.S. Senators Patty Murray and Maria Cantwell and U.S. Representatives Dan Newhouse and Kim Schreier sent a letter to the president requesting an emergency declaration. The declaration authorizes the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, to provide assistance required for emergency measures according to that declaration. Assistance was approved for 16 counties, including Chelan and Kittitas, and affected tribal nations. Ferguson was joined by Cantwell in Tukwila, where he thanked the federal government for its support.
Our entire congressional delegation all signed a letter requesting that the president sign that emergency declaration. Individuals like Senator Cantwell were making phone calls to their extensive contacts within the White House and the administration. This has been a bipartisan effort to request and to get this emergency declaration. So I just deeply appreciate the bipartisan work at the federal and local level from many voices to make this request and to make the case.
The Village of Lights display on Leavenworth's Front Street will not be illuminated this weekend after the city experienced extensive damage from powerful winds and flooding. On Thursday, the city said restoring power to critical medical resources and residents is a primary concern. There are multiple closures in place on city streets, county roads, and state highways, and the city says the closures are impacting its ability to haul away debris. Additionally, several parking lots are damaged, which severely limits parking for tourists. During the extended power outage, the Leavenworth Chamber of Commerce will be assessing the damage to the trees in Front Street Park and repairing the damage to the lights sustained during the storm. The event is expected to return next weekend. One major route into Leavenworth, U.S. Highway 2 over Stevens Pass, will remain closed through the weekend due to flood damage. When we come back, Chelan County is far from the only area hit hard by wind and floods, and many areas of Washington have been hit far harder. And the Association of Washington Cities puts on regional workshops for elected officials, with some newly elected local council members in attendance. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCWLIFE, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Order ready for Susan?
During the holiday rush, those might be the best words you can hear all week. At Abby's, you get a night off from cooking, a place to gather with family, and easy holiday catering that everybody loves. For legendary pizza and hospitality, visit Abby's.com. Aloha and Mele Kalikimaka from Abby's. End your year with a tropical twist. Our big Hawaiian pizza at a legendary holiday price. Plus, earn $5, $10, $20 or more in free pizza with our holiday gift card offer. Abby's, a legendary holiday pizza tradition.
Raising a family may have seemed overwhelming to your parents, but they weren't. Coach, teacher, life guide, caregiver. Family takes care of family. And as the circle of life continues, you now are their caregiver. It may seem overwhelming, but we're here to help you find the support services necessary so you can provide quality care to your elders.
Call Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington at 1-800-572-4459.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Call Alpine Air Heating and Cooling today. Your comfort is their priority.
Chelan County is far from the only area hit hard by wind and floods, and many areas of Washington have been hit far harder. Rescue crews from our area have been active at other disaster sites in the state. Wenatchee Valley Fire Department Assistant Chief Andy Davidson says 5 firefighters from his agency helped with rescue efforts this week in Skagit County as the floodwaters rose. They worked in a strike team alongside firefighters from Chelan Fire and Rescue and Chelan County Fire District 3 in Leavenworth. All told, the group assisted or directly rescued 13 people and multiple pets during the Skagit operations. Here in Chelan County, there were 6 calls for water rescues during the high point of the flooding yesterday. 2 of the Wenatchee Valley's major players in recycling and waste reduction are joining forces. Sustainable North Central Washington announced today it's merging with its fellow nonprofit Waste Loop, founded in the Upper Wenatchee Valley in 2018. Both organizations focus on reducing the amount of food or other waste going to landfills in the area. Sustainable North Central Washington operates a bicycle co-op and an online tool to help consumers learn where to recycle household items. Waste Loop has operated free events to repair home goods, organized glass recycling for Leavenworth residents, and fostered East Side Rebuild, the cashmere shop that collects and sells repurposed construction materials. Organizers say the merger of the 2 nonprofits will help meet the mission of sustainability for the entire Wenatchee Valley. Newly elected city council members aren't always ready for their jobs straight out of the box. That's why the Association of Washington Cities puts on its regional workshops for elected officials so new representatives have the tools they need to govern. The most recent workshop took place last weekend at East Wenatchee City Hall, allowing newcomers representing North Central Washington cities to take part. Among them were new council members Paul Harrison and Ettore Castellante of East Wenatchee, Augustin Ben-Nahays and Shane Collins of Chelan, and Shane Thayer of Leavenworth. East Wenatchee was one of 10 locations hosting the AWC workshops throughout the state this year. Coming up next in tonight's feature story, we will talk with Rivercom Director Doug Jones about why the agency changed course on a new facility. Expect a mix of clouds and sun this weekend with unseasonably warm temperatures continuing. I'll have all your weather details coming up, followed by Eric Granstrom with a look at all the day's sports action as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues after these messages.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
When flooding hit Serve Wenatchee, their office and Fresh Hope Market were devastated. But their mission to help prevent homelessness in this valley hasn't stopped, and neither will we. I'm Todd McLaughlin, General Manager at Apple Valley Honda. Now through the end of the year, we're donating $25 to Serve Wenatchee every time someone takes a test drive. And if you happen to buy a vehicle, we'll give an additional $100 in your name. Because when our neighbors are in need, this community steps up, and we're proud to be part of that.
Central Washington Water understands the power of healing waters. If part of your wellness routine includes hot heat from a sauna, Central Washington Water now carries indoor and outdoor infrared and hot rock saunas by Tilo. Research shows there are many health benefits to a cold plunge after a good workout or relaxing time in your sauna. Harness the power of water in a hot spring spa, plug-and-play spas, a Tilo sauna, or a cold plunge tub. Stop by Central Washington Water, your wellness experts.
Rivercom, the Wenatchee Valley's 911 agency, announced on Monday it's purchased a new site for its future operations. The dispatch center has been outgrowing its current space at the Wenatchee Police Department. For a while, it thought about moving to the Confluence Technology Center, among other locations. In tonight's feature story, Director Doug Jones spoke with Dan Kuntz this week to explain why Rivercom chose a different path.
911 centers have to be what they call risk category 4 to meet those construction standards. So we did an analysis of the CTC at the time, and it would have taken a lot more money than what was reasonable to retrofit that entire facility to be risk category 4 when all we were occupying was one floor. So it didn't make a lot of sense.
What that means essentially, if it's a catastrophe, a major earthquake, a flood, anything that would endanger the lives of hundreds of people, you guys have to stay open.
Exactly. We're, as an emergency communication system, floods or whatever, we have to have a facility that's going to have the redundancy and the structural integrity to really withstand those forces that we can then continue to operate and provide those emergency services.
So just about a year ago, you went to the board. The board green-lighted purchase of a property so you could build from the ground up on 5th and Lyle. In East Wenatchee. That was the initial plan, and then things changed a couple of weeks ago. Talk about the timeline for the new headquarters out there in Old Station.
Yeah, we purchased that property in East Wenatchee, I think in October timeframe of 2024, with the intent of building a new facility. Again, it's very difficult to find an existing facility, as we found out with the CTC, that meets those risk category 4 requirements. They just don't build them unless you're building fire departments or PSAPs or 911 centers. So it's very hard to find that. So we did look to build new, and we had a design team come on and start the preliminary design of a new facility. And the rough cost of that, we're going to be about $26 million to finish that complete project. So we went to the state, as you know, last year, asked for a lot of money to help complete that. Didn't get it, which is fine. It was a big ask, and there's a lot of priorities for state funds, especially right now, as you know. Federal funds as well. We went to our federal representatives, and they did what they could, but difficult to secure funding from them as well. So went back to the drawing board when we didn't get those funds and said, what can we do? So we started looking at existing facilities, and this one out on Euclid came up. It's a little bit smaller than we wanted. That's going to be about probably 6,000 square feet smaller than our new facility that we were planning, but certainly for the next 15 to 20 years is one that will work for us.
So how did this all fall into place? You bought the property in East Wenatchee. We want to build from new, but if something comes up that fits within our budget, we're going to go for it, and this is exactly what happened, pretty much?
Exactly. And again, similar to what we did with the CTC, we looked at this property, we said, and we made an offer on it, and then we entered into a contingency phase where we looked at all the things we needed to do to bring it to risk category 4, to provide all the redundancy and power and IT and all those types of things that a 911 center needs. And we went through that process of hiring someone to look at that, and it came back as yes, this can be retrofitted at a reasonable cost, significant cost savings to building new. So that's the route we went.
How much money are you saying you're going to, I'm assuming, eventually put the property in East Wenatchee that's not going to be your new headquarters back up for sale. You paid a little over $12 million for that. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. How much was the
we
Lyle
paid
property?
for that for the 1.7 or 8, something like that.
Yeah, that's what I
right.
meant. Yeah. And so there's going to be some cost savings here by buying an already existing building, even though you do have to renovate it.
Exactly. Definitely. And then we still have that property in East Wenatchee. The board hasn't made a decision to sell that or not. Kind of looking at maybe what the market looks like as far as selling that to be good stewards of public funds and what that looks like. So, and we don't know. We don't have the final cost on the retrofit for the new building either. So we've got an RFP out for a design company now to come in and really get to the details about what we need to do with this property. We'll get a little bit more refined budget on that and figure out exactly how much we need beyond what we have to finish that property and move into it.
Does the physical location of Rivercom's dispatch center, the new one, does that play any role at all, or as long as you can put up transmitters and repeaters and all that stuff so you can communicate over a wide swath of property, does the actual physical location play a role in this?
Yes, that was one of our contingencies too, was to kind of do analysis of how that property, with an antenna there, hits our other radio sites throughout the valley, and then simulcast throughout the 2 counties. So yes, that's a consideration. Obviously, Euclid, one of the things we looked at with Euclid property is right above the Confluence State Park down there. So what's the inundation zone for the dams? That was a big one because it's right down there. And we worked with the PUD and they gave us some maps to show us that even if there was a flood coming down from the dam, we would be above those flood areas. So that was another consideration.
Time now to take a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. And boy, what a difference a couple of days make, and a day made today. What a beautiful one out there as we saw sunshine return to North Central Washington this afternoon. And that made for a beautiful shot from our Wenatchee Heights tower camera. And this trend will continue as we move through into the upcoming weekend. And then another atmospheric river coming our way. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm not sure why we received this graphic from the Weather Service this morning. Cool and dry weekend, even though highs in the 40s to 50s. Our normal high right now is 34 degrees, so you can replace that with warm and dry throughout this weekend with partly to mostly cloudy skies. Should be a nice one before that next weather event arrives on Monday. Today, for the 3rd day in a row, we set a record high temperature, 54 degrees unofficially today. That breaks the old record of 50, which was set back in 1995. 34 is normal, and that was our overnight low this morning. 34 degrees, 25 is where we should be, and our record low, 1972, it was 6 degrees. Sunrise 7:39, and the sun set this afternoon at 4:10. All right, getting you into the weekend and your Saturday temperatures, boy, it is going to be nice once again. 50s for Moses Lake and Ephrata, a little warmer. Quincy and Wenatchee at 51, 50 in Eniat, 49 for Chelan tomorrow. Leavenworth, you will see 49, and Cashmere high temperature tomorrow afternoon, and even 50 degrees. And keep in mind, that's over 15 degrees above where we should be for this time of year. Tonight, a nice ridge beginning to build over the Pacific Northwest. That will hold our next storm system at bay for at least a couple of days. There's that big high down in Nevada. That means some clouds tonight and mild, low temperatures into the low 40s. As we get into the upcoming weekend, it should be beautiful tomorrow, mostly sunny and nice. Once again, the ridge over us here in the Northwest, high temperatures in the low 50s on Saturday. So boy, get outside if you have the chance tomorrow. By Sunday, mostly cloudy, mainly clouds from that huge storm system that will begin to move into the northwest part of the state on Sunday. But for us, mostly cloudy skies and mild with high temperatures around 50. However, that will all change as we get you into Monday. A little bit of trough of low pressure, lots of wind in western Washington, and plenty of rain shower activity on Monday as that next atmospheric river heads our direction. 80% chance of rain Monday and still mild with highs again right around that 50-degree mark. For Tuesday, not much has changed. That little trough of low pressure just off the coast, and we will again see about an 80% chance of rain on Tuesday, and that will also mark the beginning beginning of a cool down on Tuesday, upper 40s your high. For your midweek Wednesday next week, morning rain showers, and look at that wind. We could even see some rain mixed with snow around our area on Wednesday, mostly cloudy in the afternoon. Upper 40s for high temperatures on Wednesday. And then as we get into the end of the forecast on Thursday, once again, that trough still in place off the Washington coast, and it is going to be a wet one on Thursday. A 90% chance for a rain-snow mix Thursday and cooler with high temperatures on Thursday only in those low 40s. All right, time to take a look at your 7-day forecast, and it's brought to you by Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, where comfort, care, and community come together. 41 degrees overnight tonight, mostly sunny, and 51 tomorrow. Should be a dandy. A few more clouds on Sunday, but still not bad with highs around 50. And then a very rainy period Monday, Tuesday into Wednesday morning. 51 on Monday, 48 Tuesday, and you can see the trend. 45 on Wednesday, cloudy skies and rain likely again on Thursday. It could be a rain-snow mix with high temperatures Thursday at around 43 degrees. And that's a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCWLIFE, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
And a good Friday to you. The Kraken will try to continue the good vibes from Wednesday night's win. Tonight in Salt Lake City, Seattle's taking on the Utah Mammoth at the Delta Center at 6 o'clock. Fans can watch the game on Prime Video or on Kong TV. Well, if you want to catch some college basketball this weekend, here is the schedule. On the men's side, Eastern Washington is home against California Baptist tonight in Cheney at 6 o'clock on ESPN+. Washington is hosting Southern Utah tomorrow at 3 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. Seattle Hoops Showdown at Climate Pledge Arena tomorrow night features number 8 Gonzaga, number 25 UCLA. Tip time at 8:30. That's on ESPN. Washington State will play on the road at USC Sunday. That'll be at 4:30 on FS1. Women's college basketball tonight. Washington State is hosting Texas Tech at 6 o'clock on ESPN+. 20th rated Washington hosts Green Bay tomorrow. That'll be at noon on the Big Ten Plus network. Well, amid all the hubbub in college football right now with coaching challenges, the mess in Michigan, and the college football playoffs, Huskies play a bowl game tomorrow. Washington will face Boise State in the Bucked Up LA Bowl. That's right, the Bucked Up LA Bowl. That'll be at SoFi Stadium at 5 o'clock on ABC. This will be the final of those LA Bowls. Seahawks are looking for the 4th win in a row Sunday at Lumen Field when they host the Colts. We'll have a wait and see if Phillip Rivers will play or start Sunday after being out of the NFL for 5 years in retirement. Kickoff set for 1:25 on CBS. Cardinals are on the road at Houston Sunday morning at 10. That's on Fox. Seattle's hoping for some help from Detroit when the Lions visit the Rams Sunday afternoon at 1:25. That's on Fox. San Francisco is home Sunday against Tennessee, 1:25 also on Fox. The Wenatchee Wild begin the first of 5 games in 6 days tonight at home. Wild play host to the Tri-City Americans tonight in the first of a home-and-home series with the Ams. They'll drop the puck at the Town Toyota Center tonight at 7 o'clock. According to Austin Droney, tonight's game features an interesting promotion.
Just like last year, Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning has 1,000 ugly sweater scarves to hand out to our fans coming in the door, and they're similar to last year's scarves, which were really, really neat. So we're looking forward to that one. Ugly sweater contest during first intermission could net you $500, and Native Network has our kids in free tickets as well. So stop into the office or give us a call this week and we'll get you hooked up with kids' tickets for free thanks to our friends over at Native Network.
After tonight, Wenatchee travels to Kennewick Saturday at 6 o'clock. Then on Sunday, Wild back home to host the Everett Silvertips.
We're taking on a Tri-City team. They're in 8th place, 9th place right now in the conference, but they've got a winning record right now, and part of the way they've been able to do it, you notice they've got one of the lowest ranked offenses in the league. They've got one of the best defenses in the league. So they're a group that can grind out a close, low-scoring game. They win a lot of close games. And we found out this past week that they've got an extra scoring threat at the other end of the ice in their goaltender, who scored his first goalie goal this past week. So no, they've got maybe the best goaltender in the league in Xavier Wentz. So they've got some talented players on that team, and if we're going to win some games against Tri-City this weekend, we may have to grind out some close ones. We're going to need some good goaltending and some good defense, some good shot blocking like we got on Sunday against Calgary. May have to go back to the tape and watch that one again to figure out how to remember how to grind out one of those close wins.
You can hear tonight and tomorrow night's games with Austin on 560 KPQ. Sunday's game will air on 1340 The Hawk. Prep wrestling season is underway and several matches were wrestled across the region last night. Eisenhower had 3 pins and 4 technical falls at a 53-13 win over Wenatchee. Eastmont wrestled Moses Lake tough on the road. The Mavericks come out on top 47-36. Quincy down East Valley. Ellensburg took care of Ephrata. Wapello shut down Chelan 62-12. The Goats then bounced back for a 51-27 win over Connell. There are several big tournaments in tomorrow's action. Moses Lake will be in Spokane for the Central Valley tournament at 8:30. Eastmont and Tonasket are also in the Spokane area for the East Valley Classic at 8:30. Davis is hosting a big early season girls event with the Lioness tournament. That starts tomorrow at 9:30. Ephrata and Quincy will wrestle in the Connell Invitational. That's at 10. 11 schools participating in the Kashmir Invitational, also at 10 o'clock. Well, Wenatchee improved to 3-3 in prep girls bowling yesterday. Panthers edged Sunnyside on the road 3-2. Another pin count as Wenatchee edged the Grizzlies 17-21 to 16-29. Wenatchee and Eastmont will participate in the prestigious Tower Classic that'll begin tomorrow morning in Tacoma at 9 a.m. Let's go to the ladies first when discussing prep basketball. Lake Roosevelt got the better of Liberty Bell by 22 points last night. Manson edged Entiat. Moses Lake Christian topped Wilson Creek. Coming up for the ladies tonight at 5:30, games feature Eastmont of West Valley. Moses Lake hosts Wenatchee. Quincy plays at Prosser. Freighta's on the road to West Valley of Spokane. And Entiat travels to Thorpe. 3 games at 5:45 have Kashmir at Connell. Chelan's hosting Brewster. Cascade still doesn't have power. And Stevens Pass closed, so their game with Sultan has actually been canceled. Later at 6, it's Omak at Jenkins Chewelah. Pateras hosts Waterville Mansfield tonight at 7:30. Flooding and road conditions have also forced a cancellation for Eastmont's game at Woodinville tomorrow. Other games scheduled tomorrow have Grandview at Quincy at 3:30, while Ephrata hosts Prosser. Manson's at Omak, and Lake Roosevelt visits Freeman. Kashmir plays at College Place at 3:45. Chelan visits Colville at 4. 4:30 games have Wenatchee hosting Sunnyside. Moses Lake plays at Ike. Tonasket visits Davenport. Okanagan hosts Cle-Elum. Bridgeport plays at Wilson Creek tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Turning to the boys' side, on the scoreboard last night, Tonasket took down Garden City Academy. Liberty Bell beat Lake Roosevelt. Manson down Entiat. Moses Lake Christian beat Wilson Creek 68-29. Boys' schedule tonight starts at 6 with Waterville Mansfield at Pateras. Tonight at 7, West Valley hosts Eastmont. Wenatchee's at Moses Lake. Quincy visits Prosser. Ephrata plays at West Valley and Spokane. And Thorpe is hosting Entiat. Kashmir plays at Connell at 7:15, while Brewster visits Chelan. Omak plays at Jenkins Chewelah at 7:30, while Oroville is hosting Soap Lake. Tomorrow's action has Garden City Academy hosting Thorpe at 4. Quincy takes on Grandview at 5, while Prosser visits Ephrata. Manson's at Omak. Freeman hosts Lake Roosevelt. Kashmir plays at College Place. That'll be at 5:15. Chelan is on the road at Colville at 5:45. Wenatchee will host Sunnyside at 6, while Moses Lake visits Eisenhower. Tonasket travels to Davenport, and Okanagan welcomes Cle-Elum. Bridgeport visits Wilson Creek at 7:30, while Oroville hosts Waterville Mansfield as well. That is a look at sports news. I want you to try to have a great weekend.
And that will do it for this Friday edition of the NCW Life Evening News. Remember, if you see news happening, let us know. Email your news tips to news@ncwlife.com or just give us a call at 888-6295. Our channel is also available on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks so much for being with us and have a great weekend.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCWLIFE, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.